Gentlemen, let me begin with a hard truth. A man can conquer nations, he can command armies, and he can master his craft. But if he cannot discern the Jezebel spirit in his life, he will lose his frame, his mission, and eventually himself. So I'm going to unpack the anatomy of the Jezebel spirit in this particular video. And I'm also going to show you how it manifests itself. So in the Bible, there were many women who tested men, the bad girls, okay? Potiphar's wife seduced Joseph. Delilah deceived Samson. But none of these women matched the venomous cunning of Queen Jezebel. She was more than a woman. She was an archetype. She was a personification of domination, manipulation, and spiritual inversion. She embodies what Carl Jung called the dark anima. That is the shadow feminine that seeks not union, but control. Today, that archetype walks in modern form. We've seen her in the face, we've seen her face in the media, her tongue on talk shows, her gaze behind entanglements, and men, just like King Ahab or Will Smith, continue to surrender their thrones in the name of love. So let's unpack this, gentlemen, not to vilify women, but to awaken men. These are some of the characteristics of the Jezebel spirit. If a woman has them, you should be able to detect them. The first thing is the Jezebel spirit is a dominating spirit, okay? And it's going to strip you of your frame. The Jezebel spirit is driven by domination. She cannot coexist within a man's frame. She must redefine it. In scripture, Jezebel dismantled Yahweh's altars and erected temples to Baal, which was a symbolic replacement of divine order with ego worship. The psychologist Eric Fromm, in The Art of Loving, warns that domination disguised as love is not intimacy, but idolatry. The dominated partner becomes a vessel for the other's insecurity. You become a tool. Consider the modern equivalent, Jada Pinkett Smith. This is a woman who convinced her husband that monogamy is not the only way to love. She shaved her head, and the entire household followed suit. Not out of solidarity, but submission. Her alopecia became a shrine around which the family revolved. Will Smith, who was once the embodiment of masculine control and charisma, he lost his frame. He struck another man in public, not out of strength, but servitude. Men who surrender frame to appease women are trading power for peace, and they lose both. Gentlemen, if you're enjoying this video, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it. When you subscribe, you'll always be notified when I drop new content. Also, when you like and share, you help this channel to grow, and more importantly, you help other men to discover the tools that they need to level up. So remember, when one man rises, we all rise. Now let's get back to the video. The second aspect of the Jezebel spirit is it's a manipulative spirit. And this is emotional Machiavellianism. The Jezebel spirit thrives in manipulation. When King Ahab refused to seize Naboth's vineyard, Jezebel forged letters in his name, and she orchestrated false accusations and had Naboth killed. She understood the male ego and she weaponized it. Modern psychology calls this emotional Machiavellianism. In the 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene describes such behavior as the art of getting others to do your bidding without them realizing it. Jada's manipulation followed the same script. She didn't strike Chris Rock. She merely looked at her husband. One look and he moved. That is operant conditioning, the same mechanism that B.F. Skinner discussed in Science and Human Behavior. The man acted not from will, but from fear. Fear of losing favor, fear of female disapproval. Gentlemen, when a man's sense of morality, identity, and action are outsourced to female validation, he becomes Ahab. King in name, servant in reality. The third aspect of the Jezebel spirit is the inability to pay a bond. Okay? This is where the ego is the god. The Jezebel spirit cannot bond. Her inflated ego leaves no room for submission or partnership. Her love is transactional. Her loyalty is conditional. After marrying Ahab, Jezebel ruled him. Their marriage was political, not personal. And in red pill terms, she has alpha widowed herself. Rollo Tomasi describes this alpha widow as a woman who imprints on an alpha male early in life and forever measures all men against a phantom ideal. So some women have a phantom ideal. They don't necessarily have to have been imprinted by another man, but they have this delusion that they are seeking. In Jada's case, that phantom was Tupac, the man that she publicly confessed to love long after his death. Her daughter wrote letters to the dead rapper, begging him to come back so that mommy can be happy. That's not just dysfunction. That is emotional possession. And such a woman cannot submit because she does not see men as equals. She sees them as projects, as pawns, or as placeholders. The fourth aspect of the Jezebel spirit is a spirit of distraction. Under Jezebel's influence, King Ahab led Israel into drought and ruin. When men lose their frame, entire kingdoms collapse. Families, legacies, and societies fall with them. Look at Will Smith. He was once a cultural icon. Now he's a cautionary tale, and he was recently making a fool of himself trying to behave like a Gen Z. His career has imploded. His son sought emancipation at 15. His daughter writes to a ghost. His wife publicly mocks their marriage and sleeps with a young man right under his roof. So what began as emotional surrender became total destruction. So to stand up straight with your shoulders back is not just posture, it is a moral act. When a man bows too low to please a woman, he invites chaos into his house. And chaos, gentlemen, is the Jezebel spirit's natural habitat. So, gentlemen, the Jezebel spirit is not just limited to one woman. It's an archetype. It's a test of your sovereignty. It asks, do you lead or are you led? In every generation, there are Ahabs who fall and there are Elijahs who stand. One compromises truth for peace, and the other confronts deception, even when it costs him everything. As Marcus Aurelius said in Meditations, you have power over your mind. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And so I ask you today, where have you lost your frame? Where have you tolerated manipulation under the banner of love? And most importantly, what are you willing to reclaim? The Jezebel spirit is a spirit that you'll see in the modern women today if you are dating. We need to identify it based on these 4 markers, and you need to evacuate to safety, or she is going to destroy your life. So comment below, share your reflections, your experiences, and your awakenings. Let us sharpen each other, man to man, iron to iron. And I'll see you guys on the next one.